Well, let me give you two examples. One from an e-commerce perspective, you're actually selling a product. And then one for more of a lead generation model, which is you're selling a service or a product that's large enough that you want to have a conversation first, you know? And so I'll start with e-commerce. Most businesses would simply look to a return on ad spend or a return on marketing dollars that they were spending, but they would always look at it from a last click attribution standpoint. And then they would just struggle. They would hit diminishing returns and diminishing volume and say, if I've got to hit this return on my marketing dollars, then they would run into ceilings relatively quickly. And they would just be competing in the exact same way all the competition was as well. And so there was two things that I would always look for in the data, which is which customers create and provide the highest lifetime value, that tend to buy again or tend to buy more, tend to return less. And even if it costs me a little bit more upfront to get that customer and my initial return on marketing dollar is lower, my actual return on those marketing dollars is actually quite a bit higher. And so that's from an e-commerce standpoint, that acquisition cost to lifetime value ratio is far more beneficial than a last touch marketing attribution that just says, I spent this much and how much did I immediately get out of that? Because what that does is it just puts you into the pool that's doing, everyone else is doing it that way. There's diminishing returns, there's limited volume and growth and upside. And that's where I see e-commerce businesses start to pick out, whoa, I can get great customers and sell this intro product that are going to want to keep buying more and more. And I can get a great lifetime value and provide great products to them. And now all of a sudden I can sometimes even afford to lose a little money on acquiring that first purchase. And those are the businesses that learn how to break through those different levels as they grow their e-commerce business. Now, so that's what I would say on the e-com side. Now, from a lead generation, and this could be B2B or B2C models, what I see happening is that even though it's 2023, the percentage of companies that still focus their marketing dollars on a cost per lead basis is like over 80% of the businesses that I see still optimize on a cost per lead basis. Now, if you're a B2B business, the lifetime value of a customer is actually quite high. And focusing on a cost per lead model can really be like shooting yourself in the foot to say, oh, I'd rather get a $50 lead than a $100 lead. Which is what all the competition is doing. And if you can actually connect your CRM to your marketing data, honestly, it doesn't really matter what the cost per lead is. It matters what the acquisition cost is in ratio to the lifetime value. And so, and that's what I would say. It's like the CAC to LTV ratio, acquisition cost to lifetime value ratio. And when businesses start to connect those dots on the lead gen marketing model, that's all of a sudden where they're like, I don't care if it costs me 10 times for the lead, if my acquisition cost is acceptable for the lifetime value I'm expecting from this customer. And it's very similar to the e-commerce model, where all of a sudden they're like, whoa, this is where I can produce the best. And because oftentimes it is a more expensive cost per lead, but it ends up being a higher quality lead that leads to higher lifetime value, all of a sudden they're doing something that their competition isn't, because they're optimizing on a cost per lead, not on a cost per sale and lifetime value. And so those are the two breakthrough moments that I see for different business models. When they start to leverage data in those two areas, they kill it. And or at least they understand where to stop the bleeding, which can also be a big win as well, and start to develop an edge in their industry from the competition.
Yeah, I like that. And I think we were talking just before we started recording about brand as well, kind of the dovetail between brand and marketing. And I think that's kind of where that can fit in terms of, obviously, like if you're focusing on an ideal customer that's got a lot of big lifetime value, so there's going to be an ideal customer there that you're targeting that is slightly different. There's a slightly different demographic and psychographics to potentially just the leads, all the leads you're getting in. So there's going to be slightly different avatar in that ideal customer. Why do they have a higher lifetime value? What is it that makes them that type of customer? And if you can actually then increase your customers or leads you get and make them into those lifetime customers with better experiences, better touch points, more engaging kind of branding or brand packaging or messaging, I guess if you increase that lifetime value on that front as well, that's going to help with regards to all of the metrics, including the advertising costs and then the return on value as well.
Absolutely.
Cool. So from that perspective, what is it that businesses need to do and think about when they want to disrupt with their marketing? What are some things they need to think about? How can they capture attention and not do the things that everyone else is doing?
So the first thing that we talked about was, well, get the right data so that you don't have to guess what's working and what's not, and start looking at the right data points to inform those decisions from an objective standpoint. Now, that actually is and can be a fun way to do marketing, but there's a subjective element to it as well. And you'll understand this even better than I do from a brand standpoint. But a lot of the times where I like to start is I like to talk to a founder, or I like to talk to a top sales rep. And I like to ask them the questions around, tell me about those customer experiences where they love what your product or your service and how that's positively impacted them. Because that's what helps me get to like the heart of why the business exists in the first place. And so that I like to dig into that question with people. And the stories that they tell are marketing gold, right? In terms of, this is subjectively the customer that just loves our product or service, why they love our product and service, and an experience they had with our product and service that inspires us to continue bringing this product and service to more customers, right? And so there's two things that I like to do with that. Number one is I ask, how does that align with your business goal? If you had a lower ratio of customers having this experience, would you want to grow the business? And a lot of the times the answer is actually that doesn't sound fun if we can't deliver that experience to our customers. And so that's where I kind of try to make sure our goals aligned with the value that we ultimately want to deliver to our customers. And if they come at odds with each other, there's no worse job in the world than owning a business you feel like is adding less and less value to your customers, or being a marketer that doesn't believe in what you're doing because you don't feel like you're ultimately serving those that you're marketing to. It feels like you're just trying to grow for growth's sake. And that's when I see businesses plateau and start to decline. But now let's assume, hey, no, we want to build our business around delivering this type of experience to our customers. Do we have the right goals that are reasonable to continue doing that, where it's a win for the business and a win for our customers? And then I use all that subjective feedback that I just got from that customer to now go and see, does the data back it up? Does the data back it up from what we're seeing on the back end? You say this is the type of customer that loves what you have to offer. And now we can go and look at all the past sales data to say, yep, they do or they don't fit that demographic, fit that profile, fit those psychographics. And then we can use some of that data to say, subjectively, here's what you told me. Objectively, here's what the data is telling us. And now we can merge those two, the objective data points and the subjective data points, to come up with the best strategy that really focuses our marketing efforts where it's going to make the biggest impact.